Yes, so our next match on stream is going to be between Birmingham again and KVGS Kittens. KVGS Kittens, who are representing from Kent University. Now, as I said in the introduction, these two teams played off against each other in the last tournament semi-final, where Birmingham ended up winning in a 40-minute game against them. And there's toing and throwing. There were some really crazy plays that went on in that. I advise all of you, after tonight, tomorrow morning, don't bother going to your lectures or anything. Don't bother going to work. Go into our YouTube channel. Just search for the Newell, and search for the KVGS Kittens Birmingham semi-final game from the November tournament, and watch some of the plays in that match, because some of them were just incredible. As I mentioned, we had What the Moose on KVGS Kittens, who was playing Victor back then, and it'll be interesting to see what sort of champions that KVGS Kittens come out, because they are slightly renowned for picking these oddball champions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see if they do that again. Like, I'd love to see a Victor, man. That would be pretty sick.
Yeah, so I'll just give you a rundown of. Hopefully, all of you will have now seen Birmingham's players and how potent they are. And so this is the KVGS Kittens team. I just refer to them as the Kitten team from now on, because saying KVGS all the time is a bit of a mouthful. And we have Moist, who most popular champions at the moment are Ori and Thresh. So it'll be interesting to see if he picks those up. You have Frank and Fran. He's a bit of a well-known Renekton player. And then my personal favourite player on the team at the moment is Kinksy, who in that semi-final game last time these two teams matched up, he made a lot of the incredible plays. And I know his Lee Sin is devastating at the moment, and also Elise. Then we have a nice Sprite, who's a known Katrina player, and What the Moose, who I mentioned before, played Victor in that last match. He lost. But recently been playing a bit of Kale. Kale's a common ban these days because we tend to see these assassin type mid lanes. We didn't see it in that last game. Ariana is a particularly assassin-y type champion. But when you have the Zeds, you have the LeBlancs, Kale's ultimate just blocks out all of that damage, and so that tends to be banned out. So it'll be interesting to see whether What the Moose will be able to get one of his favourite champions.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see that, because I think Kale is a super strong pick right now. And we've just got to remake the lobby real fast, but we should be into this game pretty soon. So one thing I was going to mention when you were talking about watching the YouTube VODs is that there's another really cool thing on our YouTube channel called The Assessment, which is kind of a state-of-the-league style vodcast thing that we do, where we get some of the players on from the Super 8 and we interview them and talk to them about the game. I think we had X Rift from Birmingham and one of the players from ACOG on this last week. So you should definitely stay tuned for that. It'll be on next Wednesday.
Yep, so all of the players are now filling up the lobby, and we will be starting off soon. Just to give you also kind of a quick guide as to what sort of solo queue skill rank these guys are playing at. On Birmingham's side, they've got a gold 1, platinum 2, a gold 1, and a platinum 5. Sorry.
I mean, keeping in mind that these are their Season 4 stats, which means they probably haven't climbed back up to where they were before.
True, so they are getting better. And then on the Kittens team, you've got Diamond 5, Diamond 2, Plat 3, Plat 1, and we're still waiting for their other player to join at the moment. So I mean, they're all quite highly ranked, but I mean, you know, just going through those, you see kind of Diamond, Platinum for KVGS Kittens, and yet for Birmingham, they've got a couple of gold players in there. I mean, you know, as Osiglas said, you know, they are probably still rising at the moment. I mean, the number of ranked games is rather low. Because they haven't, like, you know, with university and work and stuff, they haven't had that much time to go up the ranks. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see kind of later on, you know, in the tournaments to come, how quickly they rise through the solo queues.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing if I can snipe X Rift again. That was fun. I don't think he enjoyed playing versus me very much.
No, well, I won't have a chance to play against most of these guys because I'm just in gold 4. So there we go.
You just gotta believe, man. Just gotta believe. You can do it.
Yeah, I'll talk to some of these guys after the tournament and see if any of them are willing to carry me. I think we have all of the champions in the lobby, so we'll just wait for them to start. I'm just being told as well that Kuznia in season 3 was Diamond 1 and Blue Bear was Diamond 3. So they are kind of their current solo queue ranking doesn't necessarily show what they actually are skilled level is at the moment. As you can see, kind of some of MT Blue Bear's plays in that match weren't at a gold 1 level, they were at a diamond level. So we are now into Champ Select, and it will be interesting to see what is going to be banned out first. I'm going to predict a Cassidin first, and
Cassidin is definitely getting banned soon. I'm just gonna step away for a second so you can take them through the beginning of this.
sure, no problem. So we see that Kale coming, coming from Birmingham to ban out. That does seem that they're banning out What the Moose, who, as I said, does play Kale quite a lot recently these days. Kittens banning out Cassidin, and then Birmingham retaliating with a Vi ban by exceptionally strong jungle. Wasn't necessarily seeing that last game, but trust me, she is a strong jungle at the moment. Gragas being banned out. I don't know whether Kittens managed to catch the end of that last game, but they saw that X Rift was exceptionally potent on Gragas, managed to disrupt so many fights to allow Synergy on his Kha'Zix to get in and sweep up. So X Rift is going to have to pick a different mid lane this time. And we've seen Elise ban coming out. Elise does tend to be one of the more common bans at the moment. She's such a fast early game jungler. She can clear out those creep camps very quickly and go for a level 2 or level 3 gank much faster than most other junglers. And also she has she's one of the few ranged junglers as well when she's in human form. She's got the CC with the cocoon. When she's in human form, she's got the repel when she's in spider form to close gaps and to get away from team fights. And we see the final ban from KVGS Kittens coming out is Elise Sin.
I'm back.
A little bit,
sorry about that.
I'm a little bit surprised with that Lee Sin because I know that Kinksy favours that Lee Sin. And they banned that out against themselves.
I can't believe they let Synergy get Kha'Zix again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that. I mean, one has to assume that Kha'Zix is going to be going straight to Synergy again. They could run it mid lane, they could run it top, but by the fact that Synergy was so devastating on it last game, they're going to have to hand it to him again.
Yeah, I mean, one piece of experience I have from playing in the NUEL last season is that you always look at the match history of your opponent right before you start. Because, they might not realize that Synergy just went, 12 for 1 on Cat? I forget what it was, but, you get my point.
I think it was like 12, 2 and 9 or something.
Yeah, they might not realize that he just dominated on it, but you should check and see just in case. And a Quinn? Is that going to be locked in?
That's
wow.
Odd, to say the least. I mean, the potential reason behind that is that Quinn can get off her blind if she gets targeted out by the Kha'Zix. So she can blind out Kha'Zix and stop all of that initial burst damage. That might be some of the reasoning behind it.
Well, the thing is, blind doesn't stop his Q or his W or his leap. And that's where a lot of the upfront damage comes from. It doesn't even block Hydra. So, I mean, yeah, it helps, but does it help as much as having a reliable jump away? I'm not sure.
But I mean, I'm not sure who else against that Kha'Zix. I mean, if you pick a Jinx has no escape mechanism. She's just going to get absolutely slaughtered. We saw Ezreal in that last game couldn't really escape from Synergy's Kha'Zix. And most of the other kind of AD characters at the moment aren't considered that strong. So
I think
I'm
Lucian
really
would have been.
interested to see how this Quinn is going to be played out. I mean, a better AD first choice. I mean, could be a Quinn mid lane for all we know.
Or
it
top.
has been done.
Top Quinn's been done as well. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. It's just a little bit strange.
It can't. No, it's going to be a Quinn mid because they've got Renekton top.
Oh, here we go.
Renekton's going to be top. We're going to have looks like a Caitlyn Leona bot lane, which is a strong bot lane. I'm really interested to see this Quinn mid.
I'm very excited by this. I mean, you know, this guy's known for picking strange heroes. He obviously went for Victor during the last tournament, so hopefully this is something he's been working on and he'll show us a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things where I think KVGS Kittens did seem so strong in the last tournaments, they did pick these odd champions, and a lot of other teams and players, they're not used to playing against these champions. I mean, it's like you have to try and think on the spot. What do I need to build to try and counter a Quinn? What do I need to build to counter a Victor?
That said, if they lock in LeBlanc here, I can't see that being a favorable lane for a Quinn. She is going to get burst very fast.
Yeah, if they lock in that Fiddlesticks as a jungle, that'll be interesting, because then they won't have any real tank there. I mean, I suppose they do have kind of Leona and Renekton, but usually you have kind of something a bit different. I mean, I suppose maybe their thinking is, we have a Leona who's going to be beefy, we have a Renekton who's going to be beefy, we can have a jungler who's not as kind of HP or armor or magic resist.
I mean, also it fills in some AP for their lineup, but it looks like they're going to be going for Pantheon. Which, you know what, I actually think that's a pretty nice pick here.
I prefer that over the Fiddle, definitely.
Because the thing is, that Pantheon is really good at ganking mid lane, because you just ult at the back of the mid lane, and if they're halfway up, they kind of, you know, LeBlanc's going to have to use double dashes to get away from that if she's in the middle of the lane. And that kind of might equal out the fact that Quinn's going to struggle there. So I think that's a pretty nice pick. It's also got a sort of half-map TP to compete with Mundo's teleport, which is really important, because if this Mundo gets strong and they can't send someone to kill him in a split push, they need to react to his teleport, potentially. So, yeah, I like this a lot.
I think one of the issues, I think I had this problem in one of our previous games, and that I was casting in last season's tournament, is that a team did tend to, they picked kind of 4 AD damage champions, and the other team just built up armor and just ran away with it, because the AD team just couldn't damage them. And the fact you've got a Quinn who's going to be doing AD damage, Renekton, predominantly AD, his ultimate can pop out it's usually quite a surprising amount how much magic damage his ultimate does. And then you've got Pantheon who's going to be doing AD damage, you've got Caitlyn who's going to be doing AD damage. So Kuznia on Dr. Mundo, he just needs to build up Sunfire Cape, Randuin's Thornmail. Once he gets those 3 items, he's going to be quite hard to stop.
I mean, at the very least, they can get Blade of the Ruined King. It's pretty good on both these heroes, Quinn and Caitlyn, I'd say. So that'll help if they do go for that. It's also actually a good pickup against LeBlanc and Kha'Zix, because if they jump on you, you can slow them and get some health and run away. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Blade of the Ruined King on both of the ADs on the side of KVGS. But yeah, it's definitely, they definitely tunneled the AD pretty hard, and it could come back to bite them.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting to note, we talked about our assessment, kind of our State of the League video that we're doing every week on Wednesdays. Kuznia in this week's episode, he said that he's not particularly liking kind of the tanky meta that they have on top lane at the moment. So you have the Shyvanas, the Dr. Mundos, the Renektons. So whether it's the case that the rest of his team's saying, look, Dr. Mundo is strong at the moment, Renekton is strong at the moment, we don't care what you want to play, you are going to play these strong champions. And I suppose because he had such a good game in that last game against Fragsock, where he didn't die at all on Renekton, he's probably thinking, well, I suppose they are quite strong champions. So
more likely he's thinking, man, I'm a beast.
Yeah, that is true. But so which Which team has a better late game at the moment? For me, it's got to be Birmingham.
Um, at first glance, I can see why you'd say that, but the fact that they've actually got 2 carries on KVGS, even though they can go armor on Birmingham's side, you know, again, the Blade of the Ruined King plus Last Whisper combo might be enough that just having the 2 carries is enough to overwhelm that. And, you know, getting a Banshee's Veil against the LeBlanc should be enough that they can survive long enough to kill people. And it's also kind of a good counter to the fact that there are assassins on Birmingham's side. Because if they burst down one of the carries, you still got one to deal with. And, which is something you really need to take into consideration. So, I think the late games are close. It's mostly about whether or not Birmingham can get picks before a fight or not. If they can't, I think, to be honest, KVGS might actually have the edge.
I think that what Birmingham are going to try and do is that they're going to try and push the lanes quite fast, get those first tier turrets, then ward up KVGS Kittens jungle, know exactly where they are, and then allow that LeBlanc and the Kazakhs to pick out those champions when they're in their own jungle. I think that's going to be the tactic that they're looking to use.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Birmingham needs to have very good ward control this game for their comp to work as well as it should. LeBlanc and Kazakhs both want to be jumping on isolated targets, so we'll have to see if they can keep that up like they did last game. Last game they had really good ward coverage, actually.
Yeah, and again, trivial point to note is that Birmingham have won the skin war 3-2.
I'd say they have really cool skins too. Mr. Mundoverse is a great one.
Yeah, I do like all of the skins that they've chosen here. I like the Arctic Warfare Caitlyn as well because it's quite rare that you see that one.
Yeah, I like Arctic Warfare as well. It's a nice skin. I think I've got like 3 Caitlyn skins. That's one of them.
I have none. So, do you imagine that all of the players will start off with not the sweeping lens trinket, sorry, the warding totem? Looks like they are. Oh no!
I think, yeah, I wasn't too surprised to see that on Pantheon, although it happened before I got a chance to talk about it. It's a pretty solid item for any jungler, so. Yeah,
a little bit of trolling in the chat at the moment, with Birmingham asking why Kittens stole their Quinn mid. Don't think that's necessarily too serious. I think Birmingham is a bit more of a traditionalist team. They do pick the strong champions, and KVGS Kittens pick those odd compositions. And I do think it is a bit of an odd composition. I mean, they have a fair amount of CC with the Leona, with the Pantheon, with the Renekton stun, and I suppose the Caitlyn trap as well. She can lay that down halfway through a fight.
Yeah, I think they've got a nice amount of CC, and a lot of it is good for peeling as well. So it's good against the assassins that Birmingham have.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is one thing that Kittens do have in their favour. They do have more CC than Birmingham, so they might be able to lock down, LeBlanc or the Kazakhs and try and take them out of a fight if they are mispositioned.
Yeah, definitely. I think if KVGS ever gets a chance to sort of set up some Caitlyn fights before a trap, it would be really nice because, it'll be hard for Birmingham to dive on the backline then. But for the most part, if they're pushing into Birmingham, that won't be a factor as much.
Yeah, I mean, I think KVGS Kittens maybe has a slightly better wave clear. Because you've got the Caitlyn put over Peacemaker, and you've got the Quinn, who can send out a bird, and that has a bit of AoE as well, which will knock out minions relatively fast. And I suppose Pantheon as well.
Yeah, the thing is, though, that
even though it's a bit of a short-range one.
It's really common nowadays for LeBlancs to max their W, because they want the wave clear, because they're bad at wave clear and CS in the mid-game and early game. Ooh, the Zenith Blade hitting onto Lucian there. Kind of surprised he got hit by that. He was max range. But yeah, so the LeBlanc, they nowadays spend a lot of their games maxing W for the wave clear, which will be good in this scenario. And Kha'Zix's wave clear is actually really strong, because he has splash damage on Hydra normally. Like, if he doesn't pick it up, it's not so much, but it's definitely something to consider.
Out and X-Rift is under turret and below half HP already. At the moment, it seems to be a rather good matchup there for What the Moose.
I'm quite surprised that it's going so well, but if you look mid now, Synergy is actually kind of hovering around looking for a gank. And certainly if LeBlanc were to get a kill here... Oh! Knithier! Oh, man! Is he gonna get away? He didn't get the second dash. Yeah. That was an interesting trade there. Synergy coming in on mid lane. X-Rift falling pretty low, his passive getting procced, but Synergy jumping in. Also, Kinksy jumping in, X-Rift having to flash away. And Kha'Zix is doing so much damage. Kinksy might have to... Oh, he doesn't have flash because he used it to initiate. Quinn coming in, though. Nearly killing Synergy. Oh, man.
He does.
Both solo bot lane as well. Caitlyn falls down to the Thresh and Moist having to retreat away. So much action in this game already.
Top lane fight. 5 seconds later. Mid lane fight. 5 seconds later. Bot lane fight.
They're just trying to make my job difficult. But yeah, that was pretty impressive play from both junglers and both mid laners. It was very close to one side getting 2 and both getting away, but instead it was a 1-for-1. So, you know, it wasn't a terrible exchange. What I will say though is that because Quinn got the kill, the mid lane for KVGS actually is quite a big lead. Almost 10 CS plus the kill is not an insignificant amount of money.
Yeah, I just think also an important thing to kind of note as well is that Quinn's W, Heightened Senses, gives a kind of that... Oh, we see Kuznir taking a fair amount of damage there. He's not winning out this lane like he did in last match. But Quinn's Heightened Senses kind of gives you that Sonar-esque, not Sonar the champion, but Sonar as in radar effect where you can scout out the jungle. So when that Kha'Zix and LeBlanc is going to be roaming through their jungle, which they will try to do, Quinn will be able to spot them out quite often. So I think that's also quite a nice way to deal with those two champions.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be... Actually, you know, I hadn't thought of this, but against a team which is sort of a pick comp with loads of assassins, that ability is really, really useful. And oh, Synergy coming in for a gank. Whoa, Caitlyn just flashed backwards. That is not good. She's going to fall without a doubt. And yeah, she flashed towards the tower of Birmingham there.
Yeah, Caitlyn's a rough time in this bot lane. It seems to be the case that Birmingham are winning out their bot lane, but they're certainly not winning their top lane at the moment. I think Kuznir's having a bit of a hard time. He's down on CS by 10 at the moment.
Well, getting this dragon will definitely help, although it looks like... Is Pantheon going for a gank behind the tower? No, he's backed off. They've actually got a ward back there, so Mundo probably would have been able to escape. And yeah, this is a really early dragon for Birmingham. And it looks like Pantheon might still be planning on coming up behind the tower. Mundo's going to see it coming, though, and he's going to try and get away. I don't think he's going to be able to, though.
Doesn't have his level 6.
Kuznir just getting wrecked this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kinksy had to get a kill there, or they had to get him away from the turret and get the turret, because he spent so much time hovering around there, not doing a huge amount, missing out on experience. Shinji Senpai's below half HP. I don't think
Thresh
they want to
maybe didn't really want to hook that in. I'm not convinced. Lucian's actually really low on mana as well, and Quinn is coming down with her ultimate, really fast move speed. Oh man, Blue Bear taking a lot of damage. You gotta remember Quinn's got execute damage when she changes back into human form, and that actually nearly finished him off, but not enough mana on the Quinn to really do anything else follow-up wise.
Yeah, they're gonna have to back off here because Kha'Zix and LeBlanc are
oh no. LeBlanc able to get the ethereal chains onto What the Moose. She gets locked up. Kha'Zix jumps in, finishes them off pretty much instantly. Gets exhausted though. Zenith Blade follows onto Kha'Zix, and oh, if he walked into that trap, that would have been pretty unfortunate. And LeBlanc also taking a lot of damage, but able to get away. So yet again, the counter gank from Birmingham just doing a little bit better. I'm having flashbacks to last game with the Kazakhs getting 3 kills in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, the gold leads... Well, there is no gold lead at the moment. They're pretty much identical, even though Birmingham do have 2 more kills. This is certainly a much closer game than the last one we had.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is closer, but it is closer pretty much just because of top lane, which might make it a little bit less even than it seems, because if that gold can't be used for the benefit of the whole team, then Birmingham are still going to be able to get ahead with the money that they have.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I am really impressed with what the Moose's mid-level Quinlan. Oh, that was a really good cleaver there.
That was a surprisingly aggressive move from Kuznir there, knowing that he's on half health and very far behind with no ward coverage.
No, that is going to be a little bit scary for him, because he knows that Pantheon... He's already been ganked from behind once, and so Pantheon will probably look to try and do that again if he pushes too far out.
He has put down another ward behind, but he's actually 2 levels behind that Renekton at 9 minutes. Oh, he just leveled up, so only 1 level now, but even still, he's really struggling. And I think it would be nice to see a coordinated gank from both Kazakh's Synergy and also X-Rift on the top lane to try and bring him back into it. Hook onto Leona, and Thresh jumps in. Lucian putting down a decent amount of damage. She's down to half health.
Moist
following up, using the... Oh, he tried to click the Lantern and accidentally auto-attacked the thing, and that gave Pantheon the time to get close enough to dive in. Moist is very low, but Pantheon comes in and instantly kills Thresh. Flash jumps onto Lucian, follows up by killing him. X-Rift picks up a nice kill onto the Quinn in the background. Bluebear, oh wow, if he jumped just under that Peacemaker would have finished him off. So overall, a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of KVGS Kittens.
Yeah, meanwhile, Frank and Fran on Renekton is just bullying out Kuznir. Kuznir's having a tough time. He's probably saying to the rest of his team, look, it's all well and good kind of getting some kills down in bot lane, but what about me on top lane? I'm having a hard time here.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that a lot of top junglers talk about, especially in solo queue, is that if a lane's losing by enough, you don't want to try and help it because it's just too far behind. But that's less of a case in competitive. If they were to do a coordinated gank between LeBlanc and Kazakhs, they might be able to pick up a kill on Renekton. So I'm surprised they haven't tried it, but I guess their attention's been was diverted their bot lane because of the Pantheon gank.
Yeah, I mean, you think, if you've got a Kazakhs and a LeBlanc on your team, if those two focus on assassinating one champion and say, right, let's both make a move towards, whoever, they should be able to pop them almost instantly, considering the fact that Kazakhs usually pops most people on his own.
And interestingly, Renekton is going for Hydra, so he's actually not that tanky, which means that if they were to try and double assassinate him, it would not be the most difficult thing in the world, as opposed to if he'd bought like a Sunfire first.
Well, I mean, I suppose you do have Leona, who's going to be, inherently tanky, and Pantheon is also he can be quite tanky as well, and depending what build he goes into, it doesn't look as if Pantheon's going for a tanky build. And really, on Birmingham's side, they only have Kuznir, who's going to be tanky, and then, I suppose, Thresh as well, because we know that Synergy is not going to build tanky, he's going to be looking to do as much damage as possible.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. Oh, Zenith Blade onto Lucian. Pantheon is diving in. There is a Lantern here. He does manage to get onto it, but the Leona right on top of where he's landing! And he just goes down instantly after that. That was a really nice Leona ultimate from Moist. Exactly where the Lantern was headed.
Yeah, good bit of communication there. That's exactly what they needed. Also has
Interestingly enough, Thresh actually had his flash up there. If he'd flashed upwards, then the Lantern would have pulled him out of the Leona ultimate, but not quite quick enough reactions for that one.
No, that would have been crazy if he had managed to pull off something like that. Just not quite. But do you see some pings going out around Dragon? It is up at the moment, so I think this might be the first Dragon that Birmingham have lost all evening.
Yeah, I can't see them contesting this with 4 people there to their only 2. If Kazakh jumps in here. Oh, he did! No! Kazakh's why? Oh, man. That was...
When you have the Leona, who's got so much kind of CC, and then you have the Pantheon, who's got so much CC, that was a little bit too ballsy for my liking.
I'm a bit worried about Birmingham this game. They're making a few decisions which I would classify as kind of controversial, you know.
I think that they're underestimating the strength of KVGS Kittens. They
And-
thought, oh, we had an easy time with Fragsock, was second ranked team in the Newell at the moment. Oh, we should be able to steamroll anyone. And KVGS Kittens are saying, no, hang on a second. We had a close game last time we faced off. We're going to get revenge this time.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting actually. This reminds me a lot of last game. Oh, Mundo's TPing in. Hang on a second. Moist. They don't even need Mundo to kill Moist, really. And Caitlyn's out of mana. She's not going to be able to use her net to get away. Mundo's got his ultimate. He can tank the tower for a long time. Caitlyn, she does have flash available, but it's not going to matter. Quinn comes in, goes onto the Mundo, but oh, the Mundo with a nice flash away. Blue Bear nearly dies, but manages to get the barrier, and the hook stops the damage from coming down. Meanwhile, in top lane, KVGS managed to get a return kill, but X-Rift managed to get yet another return kill. What a hugely action-packed minute.
Yeah, it was essentially a 3-for-1 there. I think what the Moose maybe shouldn't have engaged at. I think he was feeling a bit bad and thought he should try and help out his team, but I don't think it was the right choice there. But Frankenfran on Renekton, it's becoming scary at the moment. That Renekton, there's not that. I think he can pretty much 1v1 anyone on Birmingham's team at the moment, that's including the 2 assassins.
He's got really good CS in addition to those 2 kills. But what I was trying to say before that crazy action-packed moment was that last game, if you remember, you know, Blue Bear, for example, was making some very overconfident plays, as were some other members of Birmingham. And this game, they're kind of doing the same thing, but KVGS are reacting to it a little bit better than Fragsock did, and they're getting punished for it more. So, you know, they might need to try and tone down the aggression a little bit. I understand that they don't want to, because going into late game against 2 carries is rough, but you also don't want to go into late game against 2 carries with like 5 more kills than they should have had.
Yeah, I think they're playing a bit overconfident, and I think it's also the fact that, you know, yes, Kittens, they are reacting slightly better than Fragsock, and also Birmingham don't have as big a lead as they did in that last game. I think they're forgetting, you know, in their last game at 15 minutes, they were much farther in the lead. You know, they had kind of a 4 or 5k gold lead. Now they're 2k gold behind. You see Kuznia being caught out, and he's gonna, you know, they're both gonna walk away from each other there.
I mean, as a point of comparison, if you compare how Synergy's doing to last game. Oh, hang on a second. No, not quite following through with that, gang. If you compare how Synergy's doing to last game he ended 12 for 2. This game he's already died more times than that, you know? They don't have quite the same dominant jungler they did, which allowed them to make space for those plays.
Yeah, I mean, also I think we saw they kind of thresh-thrown the Lantern back to...
Pantheon is nearby bot, looking to ult in, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the problems is that Pantheon's going to have a much easier time ganking top lane, because that turret is down at the moment. Whereas because bot lane still has that turret that they can fall back on, I think it's a bit more risky for him to use his Grand Skyfall.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And X-Rift and What the Moose just seems pretty even in this mid lane, actually. Which I'm quite surprised by. I definitely thought the LeBlanc would be doing better.
Yeah, I mean, What the Moose is only 10 CS behind. And we see Frankenfran just in the enemy jungle, just going,
wow.
I don't care, I don't have...
Kuznia are getting taken really low here, and he doesn't have a tower to run to very quickly. Having to burn the ult. I think if that Renekton had Ignite, that would have been a dead Mundo. And X-Rift, oh no! He got followed up by the Quinn and didn't realize, went in onto Frankenfran and just died. And Kuznia, oh man! What the Moose flashes onto him, nearly gets the kill.
Oh,
he's so low! Man, that was
sub 100 HP there.
That was close. That was very close. But we can see
that X-Rift LeBlanc, you know, got a full combo off on Frankenfran.
Looks like MT Bluebear is getting attacked a little bit there, but managed to take the Lantern away. Losing a tier 3 tower at 17 minutes. Birmingham not
Wow.
showing the dominance from last game at all.
So there, Extras kind of gank using a...
Oh no,
combo.
Pantheon's Grand Scofffelling bottom. Empty Bluebear manages to get away from most of the damage. Pantheon flashes onto him because he turned around to try and poke the other guys. Oh man, Moist might die to the tower here, but this is going to be a 2-for-1 exchange at the very least. Yeah, Empty Bluebear turned around to try and get poke damage onto the guys, and hopefully maybe pick up a kill underneath the tower, and ended up dying for
they're
it.
going to have to run away here.
Kha'Zix here.
Synergy.
Oh, managed to flash past the net there, which meant that he didn't get slowed, just jumped onto him. Don't think he's going to be able to find the Caitlyn, though.
No, good. I think it was a case of a good guy Kinksy there. He thought, well, one of us is probably going to die here. It could be both. I'm going to turn around, stun Kha'Zix so that he was not going to get an opportunity to get another leap off and possibly kill our other AD carry.
Yeah, definitely a good call to do that. I don't think there's any easy way that the Pantheon was escaping because he'd already burned his flash to kill Lucian. So, X Rift coming on onto What the Moose here, managed to land the chains, and that's got to be, he got deleted. Synergy picking up a dragon here, although he's getting taken pretty low by it.
I'm not sure. If
the shield from Thresh might, that was uncomfortably close. Didn't want a Dyrus moment there. And Kuznir...
I think Birmingham has to deal with this Renekton because I think we saw it earlier in that gank. Extras LeBlanc getting a full combo off on Renekton did just slightly over a third damage, which you think, a third of his HP, that's a huge amount, but not really when you're a LeBlanc and you're an assassin. You want to be doing at least 60% of his HP in one burst.
Definitely, especially when he rushed for a Tiamat. He doesn't have 2 tank items, he has 1 tank item. LeBlanc should be doing more damage than this to him.
Yeah, it looks like LeBlanc's just trying to pick up the blue there. You've got Renekton, who's got nearly over a 40 CS lead in that top lane. Has just been able to completely dominate that lane.
Leona, that was a close Zenith Blade, nearly landing onto Empty Bluebear there. And Pantheon and Kha'Zix are just both spending most of their time near bot lane. It's a very action-packed lane.
Yeah, I think Kha'Zix feel obliged to try and kind of stay around this bot lane because they know that Pantheon is going to gank there, because he knows that Pantheon doesn't need to try and help out top lane. He knows that his top lane is perfectly fine, as we see What the Moose getting down that mid lane turret, which extends KVGS Kittens gold lead to about 4k, and really that 4k is just down to the turrets. They're 2 kills behind, but they are 4 turrets in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very afraid for Birmingham having already an exposed inhibitor against the Pantheon, because if they... hang on, X-Rift getting caught here. Wow! Manages to get away on barely any HP. Pantheon actually still has Grand Starfall, but bot lane, Bluebear gets exhausted. Pantheon's going bot lane now, and oh no, Bluebear doesn't quite manage to get enough damage onto a nice sprite before the fight ends. Thresh misses the near hook. Manages to pick off the kill, though. I mean, ultimately that being a 1-for-1 wasn't terrible, but look at Frankenfran just roaming around behind tier 2 towers, killing people. I mean, admittedly, he died for it, but, he drew a decent amount of attention away there.
Yeah, look at all the cares he isn't giving. He just does not care.
Kuznir did a nice bait there. That was well played by him, keeping What the Moose interested long enough for X-Rift to come up and clean up.
Yeah, What the Moose, I think, underestimated his damage there and the strength of Dr. Mundo's ultimate. His HP regen was just too much for Quinn to overcome.
Yeah, that was very, very close in a number of places. But luckily, didn't go too terribly for either team.
No, so, I mean, we see kind of Birmingham, they get an extra kill to extend their kill lead, but their gold lead... that gold gap, because KVGS Kittens managed to get another turret. They're 5 turrets up now. I
mean, this has kind of been the story of this game, is that they fight, it's pretty even, 1-for-1, 2-for-2, 2-for-3, but KVGS take a tower. And if that keeps happening, they're obviously going to get a slight lead. Pantheon's ulting middle here. And X-Rift, instead of backing off, decides to go balls deep onto What the Moose. Doesn't manage to pick up the kill. Needs to be careful here. Moist comes in from the back, and X-Rift is a goner. Oh! Leona ultimate onto Synergy. He does manage to leap away, but the Zenith Blade follows him. Flash stun from Moist. Lantern from Synergy.
Nice
But Caitlyn was already there where Thresh was. And just no matter where he goes, there's someone already there. Nice hook onto Kingsley for the harass. Just a love tap there. But
yeah, so that's 2 kills going straight for KVGS Kittens. They're going to get a turret down as well, further extend the gold lead to 6k. Renekton's come from the top lane to mid to join in, forcing Kuznia to come in.
Lucian having to use his ultimate there just for wave clear. What, the Moose gets hooked! He might instantly die here, or at least very close. Yeah, X-Rift manages to pick up the kill on his way back from base. Empty Bluebear running to the left manages to flash over the wall into the base. X-Rift getting another rotation out, killing Moist. And Kuznir and Shinju Senpai just tanking a lot of damage here. The net manages to take down X-Rift. And also, Empty Bluebear goes back in and then just dies. But, oh man, Synergy is just cleaning up here. This has got to be a triple kill. Nice job from Birmingham there. Managing to keep the fight going for long enough for him to respawn.
If we had Freak casting with us, that would have been a wah-la-la-la-la sort of moment with the Synergy just jumping all around the place on his Kazakhs.
I feel like I should do the Russian Dota thing where I go, oi 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 oi. But yeah, that was really good. Just managing to keep the fight going, kiting KVGS around long enough for Synergy to respawn and come clean up. And X-Rift did a really good job of going in, getting one rotation off, killing one person, backing off, and then going in, getting his second rotation off to get a second kill. Oh, Pantheon ulting top here might cast Kuznir on the way back, but I think he's too fast. Yeah, that was a bit of a waste of the Pantheon ultimate, actually.
I think the reason why KVGS Kittens lost that fight is that they managed to kind of pick Kazakhs off kind of at the very start of that fight. It was an elongated fight. And then they got into that sort of scrap around Birmingham's base, and I don't think they kept an eye on the death timers. And because they're only 24, 25 minutes in, the death timers aren't too long. And so because the fight was so elongated, kind of damage went back and forth between the two teams, and even though they had the man advantage, they were so low that Kazakhs managed to respawn and get back into the fight towards the end and clean up.
Yeah, it was really nicely played from Birmingham there, and they actually had the Dragon Timer allowing them to pick it up straight away afterwards. But if you look at this now, what the Moose comes in with his ultimate and almost instantly kills X-Rift. He nearly dies to the Lucian though, but Lucian is kind of in no man's land on the wrong side of the river here. Frankenfran is the only one fighting the other team though. He manages to eventually fall. And Synergy jumping onto a nice sprite here, but he gets slowed up, manages to invis and stealth away, but oh wow, nice Zenith Blade from Moist there. This is now 3v2 in favor of KVGS, and they managed to get away with the Thresh Lantern there, but that was a really nice fight by KVGS. Just what the Moose ran really quickly into that fight with his ultimate.
Yeah, that was really nice play. Kind of, I thought they were going to try and engage on Kuznets there on Dr. Mundo, and I was just saying, no, that's the tank, that's the wrong choice. But what Moose just goes, no, of course I'm not going to go for the Mundo. I see that LeBlanc, and I'm going to dive straight past the Mundo and go straight for that LeBlanc, and that's what he did. Took them out of the fight. I think that was well played there by KVGS Kittens.
I agree, definitely. I mean, one thing that Birmingham could have done, though, MT Bluebear on Lucian managed to get really far out of position there. He had to use his E to dash into a Renekton. That's never where you want to dash. You want to dash away from the Renekton. And because he was on the wrong side of the river, he didn't have a choice of where to go.
Yeah, we do have a pause coming out. I think Shinji Senpai is just having some lag issues. I think he's going to reset his router. Which I kind of thank him for a way, because we've just had so much action that you just need to take a step back. And
I need a breather.
So current stats throughout the game at the moment: 2 turrets to 6 in favour of KVGS Kittens. Birmingham has a kill lead, 23-20, and the gold lead has been closed. It was about a 5k gold lead at one point, and now it's gone down to just under 3k. So Birmingham have managed to put it back. I think their team fights have been getting a bit better. The effect on that top lane that top lane has had, they lost that so heavily because Kuznets was not having a happy time against Frankenfran's Renekton. I don't think, as the game's gone on, that hasn't had as bigger impact now. I'm surprised that if I were KVGS Kittens, I'd try and look to push down that exposed inhibitor, because that's a really open target. I think both teams are fairly even in a team fight. If KVGS Kittens manage to pick off one champion, if Thresh goes out trying to place a ward somewhere and he's caught out of position, they should go and try and push that top lane and get that inhibitor down. Or even if they don't get that inhibitor down, if they push the wave down and make sure that minions are attacking that inhibitor, it's going to force one of Birmingham's players to try and defend that inhibitor, where the rest of KVGS Kittens, they can then rotate to the bottom lane and push down the next turret, get some more team gold, extend their lead a little bit further. So that's what I'd be thinking if I was on KVGS Kit at the moment. I mean, what do you think is going to be the next area of contention?
The plan you just outlined is pretty good, and the way that I would do it if I were KVGS Kittens is I'd send 4 people bot, excluding the Pantheon, who I'd maybe send mid, and force them to rotate bot lane to defend their inner turret. Then when they rotate, Pantheon just ults top, and he's pretty strong at the moment, like AD-wise. He's got the Black Cleaver and the Spirit. He hits, the inhib fairly hard. If he was able to then backdoor the inhib, that would be a pretty beneficial situation for them. But they got to be careful that they don't get caught out in a 4v5 bot lane. Because if they did, then Birmingham could potentially even rotate to Baron. I mean, I know it's far from bot to Baron, but if they didn't lose too many people, they could rotate to Baron or tier 2 mid or like 2 towers bottom. And an inhibitor for 2 towers is still decent, but if it's not carefully done, they could lose a bit more than they want if they go too hard for the inhibitor. So I think what they're thinking at the moment is, we've got a lead. If we just play conservatively, an opportunity will present itself to us where we can take the inhibitor, as opposed to trying to force something which is a bit risky. So I can see it from both perspectives. I think they could pull it off, but you can't underestimate the nerves that they probably have and the fact that they might not want to take that bigger risk.
Yeah, one of the kind of the dilemmas I think Frank and Fran faced in choosing summoner spells, that you're going up against a Dr. Mundo, you kind of want the Ignite to deal with his ultimate, so when you get into a one-on-one scrap with him, you can toss that Ignite down on Mundo, basically completely nullify his ultimate. Whereas if he'd chosen the teleport instead, I know it's kind of all in hindsight now, but if he had the teleport, he'd know that he's won out the lane, he can just stay in that top lane, he can 1v1 pretty much anyone on Birmingham's team, whereas at the moment you're saying, you should throw Pantheon in mid, or push top or whatever. I don't think Pantheon's yet strong enough to be able to 1v1. I still think LeBlanc and Kha'Zix can kind of 1v1 him if they get a good combo off.
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider. And I think, in terms of Renekton's Frank and Fran's summoner spells, it was probably, although an annoying decision to not be able to take TP, an okay one, because they have Pantheon to jump after the Mundo. So, it's not great for them, but it's not as bad as it could be if they had a jungler with less global presence.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, just going through the... we do have Shinji Senpai who's reconnected, so hopefully we will get unpaused in a minute. Kind of the item builds, because the gold lead is relatively close, there's only 3k gold between the two teams. You see LeBlanc who's building, is going to be going towards that Zonya's Hourglass. Kha'Zix, he's already, always builds straight into... Oh, I thought...
Instantly paused again.
Oh, never mind. But Kha'Zix has got his Ravenous Hydra, and between the... Oh, no, we are back into game. Between the 3 AD carries, we have Lucian who's gone for Triforce and Bloodthirst, fairly standard. The Quinn has gone for Blade of the Rune King, Last Whisper, the Brutalizer. So really trying to pump out that armor penetration, knowing that because their team is so attack damage focused, that the enemy's going to be building armor, so you have to find a way to counteract that. And then we have Caitlyn, who similarly went for the Bloodthirst Bloodthirster first, and then went straight for the last Whisper, knowing that the enemy team is going to be building up that armour. And when you look at Thresh, Warden's Mail, look at the Iron Solari, and you look at Mundo especially, Sunfire Cape, Warden's Mail, it looks as if it's going to be built into a Randuin's Omen as well.
Yeah, especially since that Mundo's behind. That Quinn actually does a pretty significant amount of damage to him. That's a lot of armor penetration, and the blade is really good too. Xrift looking like he wanted to go on Moist there, but Moist has a lot of backup from his team, so he decides against it. Kuznir and Frankenfran kind of dueling in mid lane at the moment. And Xrift yet again going in. Ooh, wow. If Moist had a bit quicker reactions, they might have counter-engaged there, but he's pretty low now. If Birmingham picks a 5v5, they have a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, they're running away from this one. They don't want to give up that red buff.
Talisman used to just make sure that Pantheon gets away from that hook there. Blueberry using his ultimate just to poke him a little bit under the tower, which is nice, but
I don't think he was in necessarily the right position for that.
Yeah, he was a little bit too far out of range. Hit Pantheon, and that's about it.
Yeah, and even then he didn't get not many of those shots there. I don't think he's in the right... His positioning wasn't too good for that. But because they know that Leona was forced to go back and heal, I think they hope...
Oh, Frankenfran going in, Pantheon ulting into the backline. Empty Blueberry manages to get stunned twice in a row, instantly falls. Shinji Senpai also goes down very quickly. Synergy, oh man, this is not the fight that Birmingham was looking for. I think this is probably going to be either a Baron or an inhibitor for KVGS Kittens.
I think Kuznir was saying, look at me, chase after me. KVGS Kittens just like, no thank you, we're going to go get an objective somewhere else on that. We're not
this is a Baron, without a doubt, and I don't think there's too much that Birmingham can do to stop this.
Yeah, 10 seconds left on the death timers.
And the thing is, once they get the Baron, they can rotate to top lane immediately. They don't really need to wait for items here, because they have the ability to siege with the Baron buff. Oh, Moist! Wow! Instantly gets melted. I mean, that's a good pickup, but the Baron's down now, so ends up not mattering that much.
No, I was worrying that they might not have the damage to be able to kind of get that Baron down in time, because the death timers are still relatively short. I mean, there's 12 seconds left when they engage that. But remembering the fact that you've got 2 AD carries on your team, you are going to be able to pump out a lot of damage and get that Baron down fast.
I think if Moist hadn't have died there, they might... Oh, man!
Oh,
Kinksy just gets absolutely deleted by LeBlanc. Didn't live surprisingly long, actually, but Kuznir getting chased here. I think because this Caitlyn has no mana, they don't really want to fight this. He's not going to be able to net away if something goes wrong. Frankenfran also dying. They're kind of going in one by one here, and they've just lost 2 people with Baron.
3
people with Baron. And they are now going to lose a top tower, which is the one place they don't want to lose towers. They want their wave to be pushing back as fast as possible in top lane, pressuring that inhibitor.
Yeah, and they do have Birmingham do have their bot lane pushing as well. So I think they are going to get an objective from this. There's 8 seconds left for Kinksy to come back up, and 20 seconds for Frankenfran. And they can just walk away from that, and the gold lead still remains at just around 3k gold.
It's a really even game for the most part. I still feel like KVGS has a slight lead in the 5v5s. Just 2 carries at this point in the game. They're starting to come into their own and do work. But certainly, as you see, if Birmingham does manage to get picks, there's not too much KVGS can do. They can't go in, with a man down or something like that. It's a bit too difficult for them to fight into that position.
Yeah, I think KVGS are now just going to roam to this dragon, considering it came up a couple of seconds ago. There is no vision of it from Birmingham's side, but I think they have a good idea of what's happening. But they just don't have the speed to get over there in time, and aren't able to contest that dragon.
Quinn heading bottom to split push here might prompt Birmingham to try and pick someone off. But it's pretty difficult to get through the sort of meaty Pantheon, Leona, Renekton that's sitting in front of Caitlyn here. And if they don't do something soon, Quinn's going to get a lot down in... Oh, hook onto Caitlyn! Great hook! No one blocked it for her. She has to flash it back and E-back. And now, Empty Bluebear for once not getting obliterated right at the beginning of the fight, putting out some really good damage numbers. Synergy nearly goes down, but manages to leap onto the back line and get a kill. And wow! that was probably not worth getting 1 tower bot lane. If they get 2, it might be not terrible, but I'm not sure, because I think Birmingham could potentially get middle inhibitor here.
Yeah, death time is all around 20 or 30 seconds. Synergy is going to back away, I think.
Quinn isn't actually recalling, she's running back. Maybe she wants to try and catch someone on the way out. And X-Rift isn't that healthy, but she might try and jump onto the Quinn. Oh no, oh wow! The Zhonya's stopped the execute damage, and then What the Moose went for the wrong person. X-Rift is going to be able to get away here. Lucian comes in, and now she's going to die! That is not what KVGS wanted, although she did bait them long enough so that they didn't lose another tower.
Yeah, I think that's arguably worth it. I mean, now KVGS, they're going to have to wait 40 seconds for What the Moose to come back. But I was surprised there because, okay, LeBlanc's illusion came out, but she's Zonya'd, and that should have given What the Moose a kind of a very clear idea as to which one to go for, and he still went for the wrong one. Did manage to get Lucian or Empty Bluebear to pop his barrier in that, and Quinn's still exceptionally potent there. He nearly did take out 2 players there.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that last fight is a hope for Birmingham, because you can see what happens if Bluebear doesn't instantly die. You know, like, I think that was the first fight/skirmish where he hasn't been locked up by like 2 or 3 stuns and just killed. So
Definitely, I think that was still a rather close fight, considering it was a 4v5 and Quinn wasn't in that fight. And when you've got one of your primary damage dealers out of the fight and you're almost winning team fights, I still think that if they have a 5v5 fight, KVGS still the slight lead. But again, the gold lead, it's only, it's less than 3k gold still. It's maintained the same.
KVGS definitely have a lead, but it's kind of misleading. Because the thing is, KVGS need to split push. Otherwise, Birmingham can also split push. Like, they don't have a terrible split pushing team. So they need to try and do a little bit of split pushing, because if they manage to go as 5 mid or something, then they might lose like top tower here. So because of that, they are forced to split push a little bit, which means that Birmingham has a chance to 5v4, which is the one situation where they're going to win a team fight. So it's difficult for KVGS to actually finish out this game.
I really have no idea what Moose is doing on top lane.
Shinji Senpai just walked up to get stunned. He did not really accomplish very much, although X-Rift did a really nice pick onto the Leona, so both the supports down straight away. X-Rift trying to run away now. Synergy, oh no, he got caught by the Pantheon stun. Managed to get a very long distance leap over the wall. Oh, What the Moose comes in with massive speed boost. I think he's going to die before he manages to get the execute off. He does. X-Rift getting a great Zhonya's, forcing Pantheon to wait around and not follow Bluebear, meaning that Bluebear can get the pick off onto Renekton. Sorry, not onto Renekton, onto someone else. Kuznir now just tanky as hell, running into the last 2 remaining members of KVGS, and Synergy just jumping in, nearly killing someone. Kuznir still beating away on top of everyone. That was a really crazy fight, and that Zhonya's from X-Rift was surprisingly important.
Oh, that was a really well-timed Grand Skyfall there, just dodging the cleaver in time. He still would have gotten away from it, but just missing it adds a little bit of class to it. I think both teams are now going to heal up, and Baron's up in 25 seconds, so I think that's going to be the next fight. But really well played by X-Rift there, popping the Zhonya's just in time to completely negate Caitlyn's ultimate.
It just forced Pantheon to not go for Bluebear, meaning that Bluebear survived. That, it seemed like a small thing. Okay, X-Rift Zhonya's and survived for like 2 seconds longer, big deal. But it was actually very significant, and that was really well played.
I really had to question why What the Moose was on top lane trying to wave clear whilst Kuznir was up there, but What the Moose kind of stayed in the bushes, waiting until Mundo had pushed the wave past him, then Kuznir tried to kind of clear waves behind him. It's a really weird strategy.
I think the thing is, Mundo, he didn't have TP there. That's not how he got to the fight. And What the Moose in bird form moves a lot faster than Mundo. So his goal was to say, look, if I force Mundo to come and deal with the split push, I can get to mid faster. And if I can get to mid faster, maybe we can 5v4 and win the fight. it nearly worked. But Kuznir is getting to the point where Mundo becomes a beast. He was losing lane hard, and now he's 7 for 2 for 14. It's a huge deal.
Yeah, and now the the annual Baron dance begins. We'll wait to see if Frankenfran taking a bit too much damage. He's not full health.
Oh, Pantheon ulting into the backline. Bluebear this time doesn't actually get some by the Renekton, but does get some by the Pantheon. Needs to run away. Pops a Randuin's. Synergy in the backline trying to get onto What the Moose, but she's not taking very much damage. And this time, this is definitely a fight going in favor of KVGS. They managed to get onto Bluebear, and Synergy didn't manage to pick someone off fast enough. Kuznir, however, although this fight looked like it was pretty in favor of KVGS, is so tanky that he's kind of just 1v3ing at this point. Synergy isn't even doing anything. Jumps in, oh my god, just picks people off. He's got GA as well, meaning that Kuznir's going to chase onto a nice sprite, gets hit by the cleaver, and oh my god. That Mundo, though. Wow.
Mundo smash. I mean, that Burning Agony, he was just in there doing so much damage to all three of them. That armor is really paying off. He's got the Thorn Mails, he's got the Randuin's Omen, he's got the Sunfire Cape, he's got the Ninja Tabby boots. He's also got Spirit Visage, which is going to help his ultimate regen as well. And now they've pushed down that middle inhibitor, and I think they can back out, heal up, go and get some items, wait around the Baron, and just let that mid lane push, because they know that someone's going to have to deal with that mid lane whilst they're waiting at Baron.
I tell you what, that's got to be top plays, man. Mundo 1v3 at 38 minutes.
In man mode.
What a beast.
And now, if you look at the gold difference, there really isn't any. It's 500 gold, which at this stage, 39 minutes, 500 gold is absolutely nothing.
500 gold with an 11 kill lead. You can see just how much more objectives KVGS has been taking. And also, it looks like their farm is a little bit higher, but not by much. It's mostly just Quinn. And in fact, Lucian is really far ahead of Caitlyn.
Yeah, I mean, most champions now, they're 5 out of their 6 items to a complete build now. So we are really getting to kind of the extreme late game now, which does tend to happen around the 40-minute mark.
You would have thought that having 2 carries would be enough, but I think the lack of a Blade of the Ruined King on Caitlyn is really hurting them when it comes to killing this Mundo fast enough. And also an Infinity Edge. She needs both of those things urgently. Frankenfran jumping onto Kuznir here. They're trying to pick him off whilst the rest of the team is at Baron, but I think they realize that's probably not worth the effort. He's going to survive for far too long. And Baron is going... They've backed off of Baron now, and it looks like they're actually going to try and engage. Frankenfran tries to jump in onto Bluebear, but Bluebear manages to back off. The Quinn dies instantly. Pantheon ult comes in, but most people manage to get away from it. Bluebear, oh wow! Oh, the Pantheon Flash Spear managed to just finish him off. Synergy is really low. Flashes into an auto attack from Caitlyn and manages to fall. Kinksy living for a really long time. Extra finally managing to show. Oh my god, no! Caitlyn on a nice sprite jumps right into X-Rift. And then Mundo just finishes off the Leona. I think that might even be game. I'm not sure if they can survive the push here. I mean, Mundo gets a lot of bonus attack damage from his E's, so I think Birmingham might actually be able to end this here.
This is going to be an incredible turnaround, because Birmingham were not winning this early and mid game.
They lost their tier 3 tower top lane before, like, wasn't it like 17 minutes or
17
earlier?
17 minutes it was, yeah. I think this is going to be game.
I think it is, wow.
GGs are coming out in the chat.
Wow. That was a great game. Look at him stop animation against Nexus. Wow. Just wow. What a great game.
That really was exciting. I'd argue that was better than their semi-final from the last tournament. That was really, really impressive. A much closer game than our last one between Birmingham and Fragsock. The Quinn was effective, I think. Like I'm not going to knock the Quinn. What the Moose, went 7-11 and 6. They're not necessarily the kind of impressive stats, but I think kind of the way What the Moose played her in the game, I think it did work. But when it came to the team fights in the end, I just don't think the coordination was just quite there. And I don't think that's necessarily like saying that Birmingham had better coordination. I think it's the fact that because they weren't going KVGS Kittens, they weren't going in 1v1, but there's kind of those half-second delays, those 1 second delays that gave the assassins of LeBlanc and Kha'Zix a chance to get in, do their damage, and then so many times Synergy was escaping with less than 200 health, and LeBlanc was having a passive popped nearly every single team fight and just escaping.
I think a big part of why those fights towards the end didn't go quite as well as they should have is I think that what the Moose on Quinn was focusing a bit too much on the backline and not enough on just playing like an AD carry. Like, she was using her ult to get right into the middle, and then she would just die to X-Rift. Like, it's fair enough to want to use like your execute damage to kill off, their AD carry, or to just jump onto their AD carry and blind them so you have a big advantage in the fight. But if you're not building kind of Bruiser on Quinn, it's difficult to do that and not just get absolutely wasted immediately. And when you have Kha'Zix and LeBlanc on the enemy team, that's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. And if she had played more AD carry style with her Blade of the Ruined King and stuff, I think, it would have been hard to kill the Mundo. I have no illusion about that. Yeah. But maybe they could have done it. And I think also the early Phantom Dancer on Caitlyn, instead of picking up just the Zeal and then building a Blade, was another point that might have caused them some trouble, because she wasn't really able to burn through Mundo fast enough.
Okay, just before we go into the next game, I think my MVP for that game was, despite me kind of not being that positive towards him at the very start of the game, he completely lost his lane. But Kuznir and Dr. Mundo, let me just give you this stat. The damage dealt to champions in that game, Mundo did 44,000, just over 44,000 damage.
I'm gonna take down the coming up screen so that the viewers can see it, because I think it's pretty impressive.
Okay, he did 44,000 damage to champions. The next highest damage to champions was LeBlanc on 32,000. So he completely out-damaged kind of his mid-lane assassin champion, his jungle assassin champion, his AD carry teammate, and he also out-damaged every single other member on the team. And I think it's also fair, you got to give credit to Frankenfran as well, who also ended up doing the most damage to champions on his team as well. So those two top lane bruisers, they were pulling up, kind of pulling the rest of their team up by the bootstraps there.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's reasonable to say that Kuznir should get the MVP for that game, because it's hard to play from that far behind, and he definitely succeeded in doing it. I think X-Rift came close to MVP for me. I think Kuznir really does deserve it, but X-Rift really helped him get back in the game by applying a lot of pressure and stuff, and helping him out with kills, so, credit where credit's due, but Kuznir, man, 11 for 2 when you were like 0 for 2? That's pretty sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be I mean, Synergy on Kha'Zix, he was still effective in that game, but I think his effectiveness was diminished because KVGS Kittens, they reacted slightly faster and they weren't out of position as much, so he didn't have as many opportunities to gank, and so he couldn't get his snowball rolling down that hill. So yeah, I wasn't as impressed, but I still think that in our next game, which is going to be Manchester Penguins, if I were them, I'd still ban out that Kha'Zix and force him to go into something different at least.
Yeah, I think, he hasn't had a chance to warm up on any of the champions either, so he's just very much in the Kha'Zix mindset right now, and it's definitely a good idea to put someone out of their comfort zone when you know you're up against a strong opponent. It's why top teams consistently direct 2 of 3 or all 3 bans to one role, because they know that they can get a lot out of forcing someone into an uncomfortable position or pick.
Yeah, I think now that Birmingham, they had what most people would probably call a relatively easy first game to get them warmed up. They've now had a rather tough game where they've had to come back from behind to win. I think Manchester Penguins, they're going to have a tough time